Up next, Siddhant Sibul, our correspondent, is joining us from Hamburg in Germany to get us more on the bilaterals the Prime Minister had with other world leaders since morning. Siddhant, the Indian Prime Minister had a number of bilateral meetings with world leaders there. He met the leadership of South Korea, Italy, Norway and Argentina on the sidelines of the summit. Let us know more about the bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and the newly elected to power President of South Korea.
Well, when Prime Minister met with the South Korean leadership, they discussed about India's flagship programs such as Make in India, Smart India and other programs. Remember yesterday also when Prime Minister met with the Japanese leadership, the focus was India's flagship program. These are the countries who have been investing in our flagship programs, and increasingly our foreign policy has been interlinked with our domestic priorities of making new infrastructure in the country, skill development, and more if you see with all the bilaterals, not only in G20 bilaterals, but rest of the bilaterals we usually have when the Prime Minister goes overseas, the focus is on how India can be developed, how India's infrastructure can be developed, and all such important things. And here at G20 also the focus is India's reform. Yesterday when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was speaking at the informal BRICS meet at the Elysee Hotel in Hamburg, just few meters away from this place, few kilometers away from this place, Prime Minister talked about India's reform agenda, especially focusing on GST. He talked about how India has rolled the red carpet for businessmen, for investors to come invest in India, make in India, also build smart cities in India. So usually the focus is on India's domestic programs and challenges, but Preeti, I would like to also focus on the fact that G20 summit is all set to finish in few hours' time.
Yes.
And though negotiations have reached final stages, still no word on the climate change the climate change pact
issue,
consensus that was to be formed, because that still eludes the global leadership.
All right, so we'll have to wait and see what issues will be taken up and will be finally put into place in the final communique. Now, as we speak, Siddhant, the working session 3 is in progress, which talks in detail about the issues related to Africa. Let us know more about working session 3.
Well, working session 3 started just half an hour ago. All the world leaders are participating, the leaders from the 20 nations, and the focus is partnership with Africa, migration and health. Health on priority for the first time on G20 agenda, and partnership with Africa is important for Europe for the reasons, the fact that if there is no stability, no growth in Africa, it causes a migration problem. That's a big issue, especially with South European countries like Italy, and from Italy, the migration, the people who are coming, the refugees, the African refugees who are coming, come up to Germany, and there is a political instability. Because of this, it causes a lot of problems, socio-economic. So that is what the German presidency doesn't want, and that is why the focus is on Africa. Before the summit was to begin, the ambassador to Germany of India said that German presidency has done a really good job in focusing on Africa, lauded German presidency for that. And if I can just rewind to 2015, India hosted the biggest summit, India-Africa summit, in which all the leaders of Africa participated. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been to Africa. He has been to South Africa. We have close cultural and historical linkages with Africa, especially South Africa. Father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, started his political journey from there. So a lot of common things, and India has been focusing on that, and obviously focus on development, infrastructure development, people-to-people contact, and of course capacity building.
All right, Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us. We leave it at that. We'll come back to you again during the day to take stock of the rest of the day, which is left when we talk of the G20 summit. The second day is in progress. Our correspondent Siddhant joining us and telling us more about the bilaterals which the Prime Minister has had since morning with world leaders. More bilaterals are awaited during the day. We'll keep you updated. But at present, we're heading